there, this is Mr. Kopitsky. Welcome to Econ lecture number 2. And we're going to go through the production possibilities curve and how that's sort of the basic graph that we use to demonstrate scarcity in economics. Remember, economics is created or exists because society has unlimited wants. Remember our Spalding thing if you were in class? We want everything, but we can't have it. Our resources are scarce. Time is a scarce resource, but it's not productive. Utility is another fancy term that we talked about in lecture. It means satisfaction. I can't get no utility. See, doesn't satisfaction sound better than that? Utility is simply satisfaction from consumption of a good or service. So society has unlimited and we only have a few limited resources to create those wants. Time is limited, but it's not productive. Our productive scarce resources are land, which is mineral resources, natural resources, and land receives rental income. Capital is machinery, tools, productive capital, infrastructure, roads, dams, bridges. That's capital, and that receives interest income. Then we have our human resources, labor, that is someone who performs a task, creating something, and they receive a wage. And the entrepreneur, who takes land, capital, and labor and combines it in new and unique ways. Sort of, for example, Bill Gates would be an entrepreneur. As the business owner, he or she would earn a profit or a loss. Okay, now this slide's we got the S mixed up here. When we make a production possibilities curve, we said we assume two things. We're going to assume that we're at full employment on the line and we're at productive efficiency when we're on the line. Full employment using all our resources, productive efficiency using all our resources wisely. Pizza and robot curve, okay? Like the simulation, there were only two things that we can make. We can make pizza, which is our consumer good. It doesn't produce anything else, we use it up. Or robots, which are our capital good. They are productive. They can make more robots and such. So here are our limits. If we made all robots, we would have 10,000 robots. If we made all pizzas, we'd have 400,000 pizza. And then we can have some combination in between. Whatever we give up in terms of one, whatever we give up to make more of another is what is our opportunity cost. For example, if we're at 0 pizzas and 10,000 robots, we have to give up some robots, right, to get pizza. So to get our first 100,000 pizza, we give up 1,000 robot. But notice what happens when we want our second 100,000 pizza. We have to give up 2,000 robots, increasing opportunity cost because our resources aren't transferable completely. All right, we have to give up X to get Y. That's our opportunity cost. And usually that's increasing. We give up more because of the lack of transferability of resources. In class, I talked about growing corn and wheat in different states and how one state, like maybe Kansas or something, has the perfect soil for that. But as you get away from those resources where you can have a one-to-one transference, you start to get higher opportunity costs. So our curve is concave or bowed out from the origin, or bowed if you prefer. So let's look at our curve. Here it is. Any point on that curve, A, B, C, or D, or E, is attainable. We can be there. That's fine. Point W is unattainable. We don't have the resource to get there. Inefficient would be represented by point U. Okay, it's attainable, but it's not efficient. We're not using all our resources, or we're not using them efficiently. Shift our curve out. Well, anything that makes more or of the scarce resources or improves their quality. An increase in resources. If the United States would colonize the moon and extract mineral resources, that could increase our PPC curve. When the United States went to war with Mexico and acquired some of the territory in the Southwest, increasing the U.S. PPC curve. Better quality resources, education, training, enhancing our labor force, having the labor force live longer, having the labor force be more productive with new technology and technological advances. That pushes the curve out. Any enhancement or increase in land, labor, capital, or entrepreneur talent can push the curve out. Conversely, the curve can be pushed in. Think of the example we gave in class, or think logically. Germany, 1945, had a PPC curve that was well inside the PPC curve in Germany in 1938, right? After Germany had been bombed repeatedly during World War II. So there's economic growth. We have more robots and more pizzas. Perhaps there's been a new technology. Perhaps we have a new training school that makes our workforce more educated and productive. Here are two countries that have a choice. They can make goods for the future, capital goods, infrastructure and schools, or they can make pizzas. Alta has chosen to make pizzas, more goods for the present. Look at its growth rate, or the shift in the curve relative to Zorn. Zorn has made capital goods, shifting that curve out further. Why? Well, they spent their resources building schools, dams for hydroelectric power, nuclear power plants, scientific research centers. Well, those things led to innovation, energy, growth, increased labor force or intelligence and capability of the labor force. Out goes that curve. And we talked about how China was definitely Zorn for the past 10 to 20 years, maybe even a little bit more, focusing on infrastructure, focusing on capital development, now moving a little bit more towards the present goods. Back to this slide and actually have our own special little note lecture about our MC equals MB slide separately from the main portion here. So we'll cut it off here. Check it out. Look over any of the other videos I've included. The PPC curve is a pretty straightforward way to look at scarcity and to understand how those scarce resources can impact the total output of the economy. No, it's not boring. It's exciting. It's just really late at night. Good night, all.